A great evening to everyone present here. I'm Aditi Bubri and I welcome you all to this webinar on migration in the age of COVID-19 impact and crisis, which is organized by DG Saksham. I would like to extend a warm welcome to our chief guest, Valmiki Ramakrishna sir, who would be guiding us today. Talking about the event, this event is organized by DG Saksham. DG Saksham is another initiative of SEMS Welfare Foundation and has developed content for over 300 courses in multiple languages, which range from 4 hours to 6 months in various sectors of IT, BFSI, retail, and entrepreneurship for all age groups, from school children, youth, professionals, and senior citizens, with over 6,000 training till date. Our main body, which is the SEMS Welfare Foundation, is a professional, not for profit company and has recognition as the Best Service Award for significant national contribution from ITS Education Group. SEMS Group has also organized more than 100 education and basic healthcare camps for underprivileged children. Moving further, this event focuses on migration of people since the rise of COVID-19 pandemic in the world and in India particularly. The pandemic has made the administration and people to provide utmost priority to the health of the people, and it has also affected our health, jobs, education, livelihood, and other issues through the country. The impact and crisis of pandemic on migrant and workers due to outbreak of pandemic will be discussed here, and the event will let you know how the about the policies and programs implemented by the government of India and by the state government for the protection of the migrants livelihood opportunity and to bring them back to the mainstream of the development process during the pandemic. So let's grab more information about this. To enlighten us on this amazing topic, we have Valmiki Ramakrishna sir with us. He has passed his MA in 2001 in political science. He is presently working as an assistant professor at Department of Studies and Research in Political Science, Tumkur University, Tumkur, since from 2010. Rural development, local self-government, women empowerment, social inclusion, and etc. are the main research areas, and he has also published on these areas. To his credit, more than 100 research articles has been published in national, international journal, edited book, conferences, proceeding, and some of the articles published in the journal as well. More than 60 papers have been presented in national and international conferences, seminars, and attended workshops. He has visited China and Malaysia for presenting papers as well as chaired technical sessions at these conferences. He is a member of academic bodies like Board Studies and Board of Examiner at undergraduate and post-graduation level in political science subject in Tumkur University. He has organized three international conferences in the collaboration with OIDA Canada in the year 2020, and also national conferences seminar has been organized as an organizing secretary. He is also the member in the editorial board of international reputed peer-reviewed journal. Now, I request Valmiki Rama sir to guide us on this topic. Here to you, sir.
Thank you, Aditi. Good evening to one and all. So, I think you got my introduction as well as the theme where I would like to focus my presentation on migrants, particularly the migrants which has been affected by the COVID-19 situation since from last year, that is 2020, which has been broken out in the year 2020 in December by Wuhan. So as you know, this pandemic has made each and every one, not only people, not only children, not only aged persons, even governments also have been affected financially, and even the policymakers also they are very much busy, and they are making their contribution with the help of World Health Organization and the international organizations to contain this pandemic situation and to protect the health and the welfare of the people throughout the world. So this presentation will be focused, main focus will be on my India will be focused, and my presentation will be concentrated more towards the, so what exactly has been happened in these 2 years after the pandemic, and what are the measures has been taken by the government as well as by the people, and what will be the future of the migrant workers, where these migrant workers, they are very much involved in the economic development and economic affairs of urban areas as well as the rural areas. So I would like to share my PPT. So with that PPT, I will start my presentation. Before I share my PPT, I would like to uh, show one video which you people have seen in already in the news. Yeah, hope that you people have understood this video, which has been telecasted by the Al Jazeera, and in the year 2020. And this, by this pandemic, a lot of migrants has been stranded in urban areas, particularly Delhi, Bangalore. If you talk about the South India, it is like Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Madras. Maximum people has been stranded in the um, urban areas, because due to this outbreak of the pandemic and announcement of the lockdown period by all the state governments as well as the government of India. Just a second, I will share. So this is the topic which have been selected: migration in the age of COVID-19 and its impacts and the crisis. So what are the impacts on the migrants and what are the crises we are facing? That means particularly the migrant workers, the crisis which has been faced by the people due to lack of employment, due to lack of health facilities, due to lack of the basic facilities which has not been provided by the central government as well as the government of India, government, state governments also, to the migrant workers. Not only health issues, even the transportation issues has been raised due to this transportation and due to this outbreak of this. the pandemic has been spread toward the country within a span of, I think, 2 or 3 months. So let's start with the definition of the migration. The common definition of human migration limits the term to permanent change or residence so as to distinguish it from commuting and other more frequent but temporary movements. This migration is, it's like, this is the temporary movements by a group of people or by a family from one place to another place. It may be from rural to urban or rural to rural base. So early humans, we can see that early humans were almost surely hunters and gatherers who moved continuously in search of food supplies. This migration is not a new term in our centuries. So even if you go back to our history, by the occupation is nothing but hunters. So by this occupation itself, we can come to know that the people have started moving from one place to another place in search of food by hunting. So because of food supplies. So, so this is not a new concept or new term. This migration is not a new term for us. Then continuing to the definition, migration in the census of India. As per the census of India, we have two types of migrations: the migration by birth and the migration by place of lost residence. So migration will be carried out by the birth, and the migration will be carried out by the lost residence. That means the census of India, it has defined the migration concept in two types. That is the migration by birth and the migration by place of lost residence. That means the lost residence means in which city and which address we have stayed lost. So from that place itself, they will take the consideration that the people have been migrated or not. When a person is enumerated in census at a place, that is village or town, different from his place of birth, or she or he would be considered a migrant by place of birth. So this is the place of birth, and he or she, it will be considered that by the place of birth itself, they will consider that these people are being migrated or not. And secondly, a person would be considered a migrant by place of lost residence if he or she had lost resided at a place other than his place of enumeration. That means the permanent place or the permanent town, permanent hometown. Other than this, they will take the consideration of the lost residence where they have been resided by the census of India. From every 10 years, they will collect the migration census based on these two types. Now, coming to the main aspect of this migration. So this migration is nothing but we can observe that the battling of loneliness and separation both in the city and the village. And this migration will separate the loneliness of, and it is like battle. The battle in the sense means, so in search of food, in search of employment, in search of work, so in search of better facilities which will be provided by their parents to the children or parents to the old age persons also. And this is happening in cities, not only in cities, even in villages also, it is happening, this migration. And this loneliness, it is nothing but a struggling with dehumanized habits. And by this migration, we can observe that we have a dehumanized habits, low end, low paid work. That means once we have been migrated, the people have been migrated from one place to another place. So first they will start and they will be dehumanized by the habitats with low end and the low paid work, and hostile governments which consistently fail them and refuse to enforce laws for their protection in rights. India's poorest and socially ostracized men, women, and children continue to flock to cities. So even though we don't have a better facilities provided by the government in urban areas particularly, the people from rural areas, they will be migrated continuously in search of employment, in search of food, in search of employment, in search of better life will be provided for their family or for their family needs. And this will be observed each and every second. That's why for this is the best example. The best example for this criteria is we can see the lot of slums in urban areas like Mumbai, Madras, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Delhi, even in Kolkata also. So these slums has been increasing. These slums are increased day by day by floating of the migration from one person to another person in search of employment, and they will be migrated towards the urban areas. So this is what the criteria where we can observe each and every cities, that is urban. Particularly if I talk about since India is the third world country, since India is a developing nation, a lot of development activities has been taken place by the governments and by multinational investments also. They are attracting the people for better employment, and the people will be migrated from rural to the urban areas so that they can have their better employment purpose. And secondly, they do so using the wealth of their ability to toil and their extensive social networks. So these social networks, they will expand their social networks from their needs towards another needs. That means if one person has been migrated to urban area, and that based on that social network of that particular person, he will attract more people towards the urban areas from rural areas in search of employment. They do so because despite their unwelcome, cities still offer them far better chances. Even though we don't have a chances in the cities, the people will be migrated from the rural. So unshakingly, them from the strongholds of caste and patriarchy and enable them to educate their children in distant dream of a better future. So this migration will, it is a backdrop for the children's education, because the caste and patriarchy customs and traditions of the Indian society and the people of rural population, they will be in distant dream of better future. Now coming to the main aspect of the issues and challenges of the migrant workers due to this COVID situation. So as we observed since from last year, the COVID has been spread throughout the world, and we have experienced a lot of incidents personally, as well as from your neighborhood or from other news agencies, social networks. And we should talk about the social protection. So this social protection of the internal migrants, this is very important aspect, because in India we don't have a strong social protection policies introduced by the governments. It may be a central government or a state government, because if we don't have a social protection policies, strong social protection policies, so at this particular time of pandemic time, so people will suffer a lot. The term social protection has a recent history, and its meaning and relevance are explored in the following sections. In the perspective of this paper, that means in this my presentation, the social protection measures are viewed as a set of public measures. So this is the main concentration. The public measures evolved by the state to meet its national, international obligations to eliminate poverty, deprivation, and extreme vulnerability. That means here, after this pandemic has been started, so the governments has to follow the obligations. The obligations means like United Nations organizations obligations, United Nations organizations policies, acts has to be followed by the national governments as well as the state governments in our country, and they have to eliminate the poverty and the deprivation of the extreme vulnerability of the people. Due to this migration itself, the poverty is rising and the slums has been increased. The urban areas will be included. The demographic structure of the urban areas, it is increasing vastly. So in this concept, we should concentrate more toward the social protection policies. The social protection policies like accessibility of health centers to the migrants, and the social protection policies like insurance policies towards the migrant workers, because they are unattended migrant workers are there in the urban areas. A lot of unattended migrant workers are there in urban areas. If you take example of the European Union countries, if you take the example of the European Union countries, once their migrant has entered in the European countries, so they will get the social protection number after his entry to the particular country. That means this social protection will be provided by the government to the migrant workers in European Union countries. Even now also, the social protection will be taken care by the European countries. That means the European Union policy is like that. If you talk about our country, we don't have the social protection policies like that. That means once the migrant worker from rural to urban, he has been migrated from one place to another place, he has been migrated, means we are not going to provide any social protection policy number. That means we are not tracking him. So we are not tracking him, and how he is tracked by tracking his is movements or migration. So we can come to know that what is the position of their health, what is the position of the economic conditions, and whether we should take care of the acts and the policies will be framed based on that. So this system is not there in our country. So because of this system, we are facing, the migrant workers are facing a lot of problems, starting with the health, with the basic facilities like food, health, and shelter, and even the basic facilities like we are not, their cities, the governments are not providing uh, clean and clear water also. So this is the problems we are facing because of this social protection. The social protection is very important for each and every citizen, and this is the mandate of the United Nations organization. It talks about the human rights. The health is also a human right. So based on this human rights, the government has to protect the rights and interests of the migrant workers. Now, coming to the effects of COVID-19 on migrants. So, if by this COVID-19, so what are the effects the migrant workers are facing? So, we have a negative impact. One side is positive impact is also there. So, what is the positive impact? Positive impact is they are coming back to their rural background. That means rural area. So they were from where they have been migrated, they are coming back. They are coming back means the rural areas, their contribution will be there in that rural areas like agriculture. It may be a well agriculture or informal sector. So their contribution will be there towards the agriculture as well as the informal sectors in the rural areas. This is the positive side. And the negative side, if you see the negative side impact of the immigrants, the labor market outcomes is increased still further by the fact that they are strongly overrepresented in those sectors most affected by the pandemic to date. So as of now, till date, since from last year, we can see the negative impact of the migrants as well as the immigrants, particularly towards the labor market outcomes. And in this labor market outcomes, they have been increased. What it has been increased? The labor market means the human resources which are very important to this labor market. So this has been about is the effects of COVID-19 on migrants. So we are talking about the negative impact on labor market outcomes. That means once there is no human resources, the production will come, lesser production will be there by the multinational companies' production also, as well as the small scale industries, which has been affected mostly. The small scale industries has been affected by this COVID-19 situation, by this pandemic up to date. Even today also, the small scale industries, they are not coming up in the business sector, and they are not started their production due to this pandemic because there is no support by the government. Of course, as all of us we know that the government is supporting, but that support is not enough to come back or to recover what they have got the loss since from last year. That means they're providing the financial assistance. They are providing the financial assistance by the governments, but the stringent policies, the stringent procedure is there to get the financial assistance from the government. The first, the government of India will announce the packages. The state governments has to implement, and the state governments, they don't have the human resources. That means manpower is not there, and each and every document has to be produced by the worker or migrant. Every document has to be provided. If one document is missing, so he is not going to get the facility from the governments. So if you talk about the European Union nations, so as I said you in the last slide, that they will provide you the social security number. So in that social security number, every details or every documents which is necessary by the migrant worker, it will be stored digitally. So once these type of policies will be announced, every data will be collected by the social security number in European countries. But this is not there in our country. So each and every document has to provided by the migrant worker. Even though we have Aadhaar card, even though we have Aadhaar CD, again and again we have to produce the documents. Even after production of the documents, he won't get the funds in his bank accounts because he is not going to get what is the error is, what is the mistake or what is the error he is facing. That means updates is not there. So this is what the problems we are facing by the migrant workers in our country, particularly even though we have digitally enhanced and digitally we are very much forward with the developing nations or developing nations. So by this, we can say that the most affected area or the most affected part is the hospitality industry, particularly in our country. Even though in even European nation also the hospitality industry has been affected. Just I given an example. So what type of hospitality industry in European countries they have been affected. In European countries, we have majority of tourism sectors or tourism places are there. So all these tourism places has been uh, bought. That means people are not visiting the countries by tourism. There is no tourist visa has been sanctioned since from last year. So they are facing this hospital industry is facing direct employment as well as indirect employment, which will be provided by the hospitality industry. So they are very much in loss. So particularly in European nations or foreign born, twice their share in overall employment. This, if you talk about the European nations, the foreign born people or foreign born nationals who are residing in European Union, 75% of the foreign born people they are working in hospitality industry. So this is the case in European Union, even though not only in European Union, even in our country also, the hospital industry has been affected by this COVID-19. Then the next slide. So due to range of vulnerabilities such as higher incidence of poverty, which is very much rampant in our country, in rural as well as the urban areas, like for example, we can see the slums which are affected by the poverty and the vulnerabilities they are facing in the slum areas, particularly in Mumbai. They are overcrowded by the housing conditions, a high concentration in jobs, where physical distancing is difficult. So, where high concentration of jobs are available in metropolitan cities like Mumbai, Kolkata, and Delhi. But the physical distance is very difficult because the urban areas, the geographical location of the urban areas, they're not uh, they're not in a situation to face the pandemics like this. And the immigrants are at much higher risk of COVID-19 infection than the native born. That means the migrants which have been migrated towards the urban areas and who are residing in the slums, where the social distancing as well as the physical distancing is very difficult. At this type of places, the COVID-19 infection will spread very fast because they don't have communication, they don't have information about the pandemic. Based on this infection will spread very fastly. And we can see, observe the studies in a number of countries found that an infection rate that is at least twice as high as that of the native born. That means native born people who are there residing in a very well localized, very well basic facilities will be provided with the local urban local bodies towards the native born people. So if you take case of the native borns, other than these native borns, the migrant people who are migrated towards the urban areas, they never get the facilities or information by the stop pandemic situations. So in the course of COVID-19 pandemic, governments needed to adopt their communication on migrant integration to set off additional objectives. That means by this COVID-19 pandemic, in consultation with the World Health Organization as well the United Nations organizations and the international academic bodies, the governments they are needed to adopt their communication on migrant integration to set off additional objectives. That means we should frame the objectives, the future objectives toward the migrants' health, their migrants' employment, their poverty, their education, children's education, as well as the children's malnutrition. So towards these aspects, the government should take the additional objectives or additional responsibilities to tackle the problems where the migrants will be facing after this pandemic period. In order to limit the spread of the virus, the governments needed to provide immigrants with timely and accurate information on pandemic itself, public health measures, as well as access to medical services. That means the government should provide, or the government should be provide immigrants or migrants in urban areas timely and accurate information. Based on the time and the accurate information should be provided. That means, for example, the people, why in the starting itself, I have shown one video to you. The maximum people are, they're very much, there is no social distancing, they're not wearing the masks. So the government should take care of this type of problems first. That means they should provide the free. The government has to provide the free masks, and they should put the placards, or they should provide the pamphlets to the migrant workers about the information of the pandemic, information about the COVID-19, how it will spread, what are the needs to be taken, what is the first stage of the coronavirus, and how it will be spread. So all this information, the communication has to be provided to these people, as well as the public health measures. The health facilities or health centers, it will be accessible to each and every migrant worker. But this is the very big problem in our country. We don't have proper equipped health centers accessible to the migrant workers. And apart from that, we should have the medical services like ambulance shifting the coronavirus patient from one place to another place, one hospital to another hospital. That means we should have medical services should be there, and health insurances also. And the access to basic facilities also be provided by the government. The basic facilities like water, food, and nutritious food, particularly to children as well as the aged people. The government has to provide the basic facilities. The basic facilities at this type of situation, so that the migrants' health can be protected and they can move safely towards their native place. So more about the effects of pandemic on migrant studies. So we have some studies which has been conducted by the one author. He is Anup Khanna. He has conducted some studies on pandemic effects of pandemic on migrant workers. And he has three important aspects where he has covered. The public health interventions mainly aim at three types of population to prevent or mitigate the spread of an emerging infectious disease and its negative effects. And this study is not only pertaining towards the COVID-19 pandemic only, even in any type of pandemic or in any type of infectious diseases. So we can follow these studies by the government. The population in the source area. The population in the source area. Source area means we can take the example of the urban areas. This urban area or in urban area, one slum we can consider as a source area. So in that source area, the population is the main source. And the floating population leaving the source area. The population where they will live. That means floating population. So one place. So once the migrant worker has been migrated towards one urban area, so he will be there for 6 months or 1 year or 3 months or maximum 3 months or maximum 1 year. So after 1 year, again he will move to another place or urban area in search of employment. This is called as the floating population. The floating population leaving the source area. That means, so where he has started his migrant or where he has started his employment in one urban area, and from one urban area to another urban area or within the urban area, and this is called as floating population. And the third one is the population traveling from the infected area to other areas. So this is the very important aspect we should take care of. And the government also has been taken seriously about this, the population traveling from one affected area to other areas. So based on this, we can find the government has announced the lockdown periods. The affected population traveling towards other areas. So this is also very important. So where they have conducted the studies and they have come to the conclusions also. So although there have been several studies on how migration affect the spread of epidemic, however, another important dimension of the problem is the way in which an epidemic affects the migrant population. Then epidemics not only pose a public health crisis, but often convert into an economic crisis. So this COVID-19 situation, the COVID-19 pandemic is the best example where we are facing economic crisis. We means not only people, not only migrants, even governments also, international governments as well as the national governments also, they are facing the economic crisis due to this pandemic or epidemics. And this epidemic or this pandemic is affecting the people directly towards the health of the people. So once we have to take care of the health, that means we should give more importance to the health of the people. That means now the present generation and the future generation. So we should consider these two aspects and we should take care of the public health policies and public health and social protection policies so that at this type of pandemics, the economic crisis can be contained. We can't reduce the economic crisis, but we can contain the economic crisis and that too in the migration crisis. So this migration crisis also, it will create a lot of economic crisis locally as well as the national. So locally means in urban areas. That means we will lose the manpower. So we will lose this specialized technical migrants. That means the migrants, they are very much aware of the technical aspects. So we will lose that human resources by this type of pandemics and we will face the economic crisis. In epidemic conditions, a large number of internal migrant workers are trapped in cities. So this is the very important cause where the spread of the pandemic has been taken care of by the governments. That means the epidemic conditions at large, it has been increased the number of internal migrant workers. The internal migrant workers number has been increased and they have gathered at one place and they have trapped in the cities because the transportation facility has been stopped by the governments and they have trapped in one place, in one urban area. So in that particular place, the coronavirus, the virus itself, it will take a lot of precautions. We can't take the precautions of the viruses because a lot of people has been stranded in the cities because of the transportation has been cancelled and being laid off due to the measures taken by the government to control the spread of disease. We want to control the spread of the disease and we have cancelled the transportation facilities like railways as well as the road transportation. We have been stopped. The government has been stopped. So by this, the trapped population, the migrant workers has been trapped throughout the country in major cities. The most of these workers earn a little more than a subsistence wage and have no other means to protect their incomes if they lose their jobs. These migrant workers, they are daily wages, they have weekly wages, and they have monthly wages also. So by this pandemic, by this situation, by this virus spreading, they have lost the jobs, they have lost the livelihoods, they have lost the employment, and they are in a typical conditions what they can take the next step. That means next level, what they are not in a position to go further or to take what type of decisions they have to take. Like they should go back to the native place, or they could come back to the again they can come back to the same job and they will get the same jobs or not. So this type of confusions are there. So the government has to take care of this type of situations. And psychologically, the unemployment process, the unemployment situation in the country, it will psychologically affects the migrant workers, and they will start migrating without any social security measures. And that means they won't bother about the pandemics, and they don't bother about the pandemic situation. They will move from one place to another place in search of food, in search of employment. So this is what is happening in our country. The majority of the migrants, they're not bothered about the social security policy. Sorry, They're not bothered about the virus measures we should take care of. That means what are the precautions we should take care, like social distancing, wearing the masks. They're not bothered about all these things because they're not in a position. They are psychologically they are not in a position to follow the measures to protect themselves from this virus. So this is what the situation we are facing in our country particularly. So coming to the last slide, that is the conclusion part. So in conclusion, I can tell you that the internal migrants form a crucial part of India's economy. That means the internal migrants which are moved from rural to urban areas, they are the major and they are the crucial part of the India's economy. India's economy means it is urban economy, urban local bodies, urban economy, as well as the development process which are taking place in the majority of the urban areas. It may be industrial area, it may be a development area, it may be a Mumbai, or it may be a Delhi, or it may be Bangalore, or it may be IT corridor. By these internal migrants, they are very crucial part of India's economy, and we can't eliminate this from our future economic progress. And they are very important, and they are the backbone of the economy. That too, urban economy is very much stranded by the internal migrants. Basically, human resources from labor to the manager level also. This corona epidemic has come with extraordinary intense uncertainty, and this virus, it is an epidemic, and it has extraordinary intense uncertainty. That means we can't know, we can't say, and nobody can say that when this pandemic will get end and when we will stop it. And it is also difficult to estimate how long and what extent will the impact of the epidemic be on the lives of people and economy of the country. As I said, by this pandemic, we can't say that what type of effects and what type of effects will be faced by the people and their health, their economy, their employment, their education, the quality of. We should talk about the quality of education. We are losing the quality of education by this pandemic towards our children, and we should think about the education status of the people, education status of the future generation, that is our children. And the government has to come up with a well-crafted strategy to deal with this crisis. So lastly, I can tell you that the government has to come up with a well-crafted strategy to deal with this crisis. So that means, so what the government can do? So the government alone cannot do anything. The pressure groups, as well as the international organizations and the education sector also, by this research, by conducting the research on migrant workers in this particular pandemic period, the researchers has to suggest ways, means, and measures for the future migrants to protect their rights, to protect their social security, to protect their health, to protect their employment, to protect their children, to protect their children's education. So this is what about my presentation, and I thank you. I thank you each and everyone for listening patiently for this 1 hour. And I also extend my warm thanks to the CMS organization and for providing this opportunity to share my views, to share my ideas on this day, on this webinar. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us. It was amazing hear you and gaining this amazing knowledge. We are open to the questions. If
Yeah.
anyone has any question, please ask.
Yeah, you can ask questions. It should not be based on this only on this particular topic. You can ask the questions which are directly or indirectly related to my topic. So I can answer as per my level best. One message I want to share with you people. So we should start doing some research on this particular aspect, that is on migrants. how these migrants has been affected by this pandemic, and what will be the future of these migrants, and what will the future of the future generation of the migrant workers. That means about their children, children's education, children's health, and their social security measures.
Okay, then I, on behalf of
Is
DG
there
section,
any questions in the chat room? Can you check?
yes, one question is there. What do you think is the best strategy of government in dealing with the pandemic in relation to migrants?
The government alone cannot do any type of measures. They cannot take any type of measure because already the government is in economic crisis. So what I mean to say is we should suggest some ways and means. We means it may be a pressure groups, it may be a political body, or it may be a education sector, or it may be a citizen. By our participation, we should provide some ways and means. So that means we have to suggest them. So we have to present our ideas to the government. A government alone cannot be, if even though government alone cannot do, but some based on the research studies only, government will take the policy decisions. But even though we should have some knowledge, so we should have some knowledge what the government is going to do. For example, as I said you, so for 1 year or 2 years, government is going to provide the financial assistance to the small scale industries as well as the migrants. Like the migrants are getting the every month they are getting 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees as a remuneration due to this pandemic time. So this is not enough for the migrants. They should have the employment, they should get the employment, they should get the income so that they can run the families, they can feed their educate their children, they can educate their children. So this is what I can share with you about this particular question.
I don't think so. There are any questions. If
Okay.
there is any question, just ask, please.
Good evening, Professor.
Yeah. Venkatesh. Yeah.
Myself, Venkatesh,
Yeah.
Gulbarga.
Yeah.
How affect this migration on Indian democracy during the pandemic period?
It's a very good question. This pandemic is directly affecting the democratic system, and this pandemic is affecting the roots of the democratic system in our country. Because uh, I can tell you, the democracy itself is in danger right now by this pandemic. Because the maximum people who are affected by this pandemic on health basis as well as the economic crisis as well as the social causes also. So they are the backbone of the democratic system. Because for example, if you take the example of the migrants, we have lakhs and crores together of migrant workers are there in our country. So they should have a proper trust on the democratic system. The government has to provide the basic facilities as well as social security and health policies toward these migrant workers, and the government has to announce some important policies towards the protection of their lives, to protection of their health in future. Because the next election, it will show that what the migrants will talk about the present government and whether they want the changes or not. So definitely, as per my knowledge, the democratic system as the democracy roots, it will be affected by this pandemic. It is affecting by this pandemic.
Okay. Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, very good presentation.
Yeah, thank you.
So, I, on behalf of DG Saksham, would like to thank you, sir, for guidance, and thank you each and everyone for attending this webinar. I'm sure everyone has got to learn a new thing today, which would definitely help them in the future. Thank you, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you at the next event as well. I request everyone to fill the feedback form in order to get certificate. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Aditi, and thank you to all the participants. for listening my lecture. Thank you one and all.